Hello gang, I'm back again. I'm going to be probably busy in the next little while. I'm moving and my best friend needs help, so I gotta help him out. Gotta help cover for him. So next 10 days, next little bit is going to be quite, I don't know if I'll be able to get on in that time, but I thought I would come on and I would do, I wanted to do one on Henry Rollins for a while now. Henry's cool. So anyway, Henry Rollins is a guy who's pretty Spartan. Like he's one of those guys that like he's getting gray hair and he just doesn't care. He doesn't hide it. He says whatever, doesn't matter. So he started out in a band called Black Flag, or a punk band. He got he loved their music, and then their lead singer ended up leaving, and he got tried out for an audition, and they said he was great, and ended up touring with the band. So he lived the rock and roll life, as glamorous as it is, but it's not, because Black Flag basically tour. They get in a car or a van that's ready to break down at any time, and they go across the country, and they do all these different gigs, and they get harassed by the cops all the time. I don't know why, but they made like the persons of interest list because they thought they were up to no good because they're a punk band, right, in the mid-'80s or whatever. And the cops are always on their ass, and Hank goes on with he keeps a detailed diary, and he writes every day, today's show was great, it went well, and then later on we had an argument with the manager, and we didn't get paid, and we told him to fuck off, and we had to pick up and leave, and that night we crashed at a groupie's place because we had no place to stay, and we got to eat that night, and just crazy stories. I met some lead singer of some band that he really liked, and turns out the guy's a complete fucking asshole, and beer bottle flew and smacked one of the band members in the head, and Hank had to kick a guy in the face to get him off stage, and some chick elbowed him in the face, and like he's got cuts and stitches, and it's not a glamorous life. It's a pretty hard life, but he lived pretty much as hard as you can as a rock star. They go to Scotland, and there's fucking tons of skinheads there. You go to a show and you fucking boo the band and you throw bottles at them. Like, how fucking smart is that? So stupid. But he goes on to very, very great detail, describes his emotions. Like, he's a very angry guy, and he couldn't sort them out, and he just wanted to change things in the world, and he's so pissed off at a lot of people. But he wasn't like an angry, like angsty, like, oh, I hate the world. But he was very, I've had a lot of hard fucking experiences, and it's made me see the world in a different light, and just very, very interesting shit. And then he goes on to form his own band, which is the Henry Rollins Band, and the song Liar, I love it. You can find it on YouTube. It's called Liar, I'm a Liar, I guess, by Henry Rollins. And then he briefly gets on to movies, and he's got little bit parts in movies here and there. He was in like Heat, he was in The Chase, I think it was called, and he was in Bad Boys 2. He's got little bit parts here and there. He was in Def Jam Fight for New York, which is the second one. I always used Hank too because he's cool. He's fucking awesome. I always love when you meet him in the game. He sends you little messages, and everyone else is like, "Hey man, come down to the shop. I got something to show you." Hank's always like, "I need you to come down to the gym right now." That's just the way Hank is, right? So then he goes to perform. Like, he'll go from venue to venue doing his spoken word, where he just comes out and says some pretty amazing stories. Like, he's got this one where this old lady goes shopping for Christmas stuff, and she comes out to the parking lot and just breaks down and starts crying because she's got no one to go home to. And he said it was one of the most powerful, emotional things he's ever seen. Like, it fucking tore him apart. And one where there's a cockroach in his apartment, and he tries to kill it, and he fucking nails it with a shoe or something like that, and its guts go, like, it pops, and its guts are all trailing behind it, and it's crawling across the floor, and it's it's picking up all this dirt and stuff as it's making its way across the floor. So basically it's like you get disemboweled and crawling like 100 yards, you know what I mean? He's like amazed that this cockroach has this kind of fight to live, and he's like, I know people that don't have the same fight to live as this cockroach and don't even deserve to live as much as this cockroach does. He's like, it impressed me, and then bam, he killed the fucker. So it's just neat little things like that. He reads his diary too. He's got this thing where he just reads, word for word. January 22nd, we had a great show today. Had to club a guy with my guitar or microphone stand to get him off stage. He said he was going to kill us, and whatever. It's just on and on and on. You never know what he's going to read. And now he's got his own show, the Henry Rollins Show. You can actually find it on YouTube. You just type in Henry Rollins Show and you can find it. It's cool. He has different guests on there, like he has Marilyn Manson one time, and he actually lets whoever he has on the show, he says, you know, here's Marilyn Manson. You shake hands, and then he's like, so Marilyn, you know, controversial shit, what's going on? Marilyn goes on to tell a story, and he's like, well, after Columbine, I heard you had a lot of issues, what's up with that? Like, and then Marilyn says, yeah, there were people that were threatening to kill me because they figured I was responsible for all that shit, and when Marilyn Manson has, like, nothing to do with it. And Hank just sits there, and he's like, you know, intense, he's like, listening to everything Marilyn's saying, and he doesn't cut him off, he doesn't interrupt at all until Marilyn's completely finished, and then he'll add something. And then he has like these awesome bands come on, like these Radiohead and Mars Volta came on, and I couldn't believe, like, how cool would that be to have Radiohead come on your show and just fucking rock up the place, right? Then I was on Facebook, and I had tagged the two chicks from Trailer Park Boys. I took a photo of my buddy Earl, who tells all the funny stories. He got a picture with the two chicks from Trailer Park Boys, and it wasn't even for him, it was for his dad. So I went searching for them on Facebook, because I'm all mad about tagging. I want to get every single person tagged in every little photo. And I sent them a mail saying, you don't know me from a hole in the ground, but, you know, I got you guys tagged in a photo, so, you know, can you add me so I can at least, you know, get the proper tags all set up. I haven't heard back from them yet, but I thought, you know what, I'm going to go searching for other people and see who else is on Facebook. And I typed in Keanu Reeves and found that, you know, there's like 8-9 people that have his photo with his name, and, you know, it's obviously he's probably not even on Facebook. But then there were I typed in Henry Rollins, and I found 2 people who had his photo and his name. There's other people that were called Henry Rollins but didn't have a photo up, so obviously maybe it's just a name match, like I happen to be named Henry Rollins as well. So then I go onto his site and I write him an email saying, did you know that there's 2 people on Facebook who are using your name and your picture? And I'm like, you probably don't care, but I thought I would run it by you, because I'd be pretty irritated if some guy was picking up chicks on my tab. And he writes me back at like 6:30 the next morning, because I know he reads his mail, but I just figured he's been a very busy man lately. Maybe he wouldn't have time, because he's got so many things going on. And he writes me, and he's like, hey, you're right in that I really don't care. You know, be safe, and, you know, have a good day, Henry. And I was like, hey, cool. He wrote me back, and he wrote me back like toot-swit. So I write him back another mail saying, I'm impressed that you wrote me yourself, and it was very quick, like 6:30 in the morning. And you know, it's cool that on your show you have such amazing guests, and wasn't it great to watch, you know, Radiohead and Mars Volta perform live? I mean, isn't that awesome? And he didn't write me back yet, but I didn't really ask him anything. I just said, hey, isn't that cool? So it's neat that I actually got to chit-chat with him, even though it's just for a second. It's cool. Like, I'm a huge fan of his, and I've actually got, you know, hopefully it was him that responded, you know. It's hard to say, you never really know, but I know he's one of the few guys that really does interact with, does really listen to his fans, and does really, you know, write his own mail. So even if he just dropped me a quick line, he's like, you know, okay, I got 500 mails today. Okay, yeah, hey, how's it going? Great, I don't care, bye. It's cool that he actually came on and did that. So I thought I would just come on and do a little song and dance for Hank, and say, hey, you're cool, keep up with the good work. You're the whole reason that I got into the YouTube, is because I would listen to spoken word, and his stories were so funny, and like pretty got me to look at things in new ways, and, you know, just understand what the real rock and roll life is like. It's not like Guns N' Roses, who have, you know, $1 trillion and get to sleep in these beautiful hotel rooms, and, oh, you know, let's do a lot of drugs and trash the place, and, oh, the band's talking about breaking up, oh, you know, life is hard. No, Hank's lived the fucking hard life. I like his one story where he's in Australia, and he ends up punching some fan. Like, well, this guy kept spitting beer on him over and over again, and did all this other nasty shit. So Hank fucking said, oh, I went to wave him in to talk to him, and poof, my fist smashed into his face, and he got part of the guy's tooth stuck in his hand, and it got infected, and he ended up having to go to a hospital, and goes on to tell this whole funny fucking story. It's hilarious. And he says, like, do you realize, like, I became the asshole? You know what I mean? Like, he was in Australia, and he took a rock and he threw it over this cliff or whatever, and little did he know there was actually like a guy in a boat that he had missed down there, and he's like, do you realize I could have fucking killed somebody? Like, I could have gotten crushed by a rock because I was fucking stupid. You know, he's like, I became the asshole, so don't become the asshole. That was the whole point to his story, and everyone at the end is like clapping because it made so much sense, and it was like really cool. And he's a fucking smart guy. Like, he's extremely intelligent. I think everybody needs to shut up and listen to him, because he knows what he's talking about. Anyway, Hank, if you ever watch this, I want to just say, you know, you're kick ass, and keep up the good work, and send me a mail sometime. Let's talk shop. It'd be fun, you know, politics and whatnot.